I just want to be sure that I've only had 2 comments about it. They say we don't introduce our speakers. I would like to introduce you to John Kennedy, our speaker for this afternoon. Long-time member.
I'm sorry to inform all of you that she is incorrect. My name is Bill James. My name is Bill James. Not the Bill you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I need to begin by 2 apologies. One, if the presentation, the program isn't as up to par as always, I've got excuse. Most know it because I put it in that reason I sent out that thing about the repair bill late. So it was a work to get it all put together again. So I apologize. I think it's going to go okay because as a teacher I can fake just about anything. And my name is Bill James. Also, I want to apologize because we advertised that there were going to be handouts today. Last January, when we were going to have this program and had to cancel because of bad weather, when we rescheduled, I found out that this month, 2 weeks ago, was National Consumer Protection Week. And I said, well, that works perfect into this month's program, because that's what we're talking about, is your protection. And I found out that you could order lots of free pamphlets. And so I did. I had about 6 different pamphlets, information sheets, ordered about 50, because we figured that, boy, we're going to have ourselves a huge crowd, so we would limit it to 1 per family. And I ordered it, got a confirmation letter, said your order is confirmed. It will take 3 to 4 weeks, but don't reply back to this address. This is not a working address. So I had no way of communicating to check on it. Well, 3 or 4 weeks ago was 5 weeks ago, because I checked the letter, and it was the 1st of February. And here we are, middle of March, which is 5 weeks, and nothing has arrived. Or, if it did arrive, yep.
Was that from the government?
Yeah.
Shut down.
Now it was after. We were back up and running by the 5th. We're back up and running. But it was still the problem of somebody who shut the government down. The only other thing could be is that possibly the porch poachers, if it got delivered, because I don't know if it came in a box or was it come in an envelope. But boy, weren't they surprised when they opened it up expecting to be something great, and it was all these pamphlets about scams, spams, spoofs, and phishing. Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
So we're going to say today, after this, we're going to say scram scams, bam spams, poof spoofs, and dish the fish. There is so much of this junk of spam, spoofs, and phishing going on out on the internet. What can a person do? Stay off.
That's cheap. That's cheap.
Absolutely.
$20 per somebody. I think.
What name do you want on the check?
Bill James.
Okay.
Now, it was mentioned cheap. Well, I was just today talking to Ron Sherwood, and Ron said he got a notice from the bank about a charge on his credit card. It was made like yesterday in Pennsylvania, and Ron said, oh, I've been in Newark all day. It was only for $6.90, I think. A price cheap that usually doesn't get flagged. But for some strange reason, the people who were trying to hack in his account or something used a name that was just blah. And so the bank probably said, gee, I've never heard of a company called so we're going to check this out. Because for $6.90 they wouldn't do it. And that's what those people do, is they will do a number of very small charges to see if it goes through. And if it goes through, bang, the next one is going to be a huge one. Now, he said that this card is only used for internet purchases. So they're trying to figure out. Now, I will tell you that that's why I recommend something like PayPal. Because with a service like PayPal, and Google had one, I don't know if it's still going, you have a middleman in between you. And so if you order something, it goes to PayPal to get paid, and then PayPal gets me to pay them. So there's no way that any third party gets my information. And I've started to even avoid companies that don't accept PayPal unless it's something I really need and it's a website that I really, really trust before I give them my card. So now Ron's got to go through the problem of that card has been canceled, he's being issued a new one, and now he has to remember, okay, who else has that number recorded for payments that no longer will work? Anytime a bank cancels your card for safety, you've got to think and remember who else gets paid with that. Because somebody was, oh, it was Stacy, wasn't it? Her cable? Somebody I was talking to had to get a new card and forgot that the cable company was using that credit card to pay the bill automatically, and so it didn't go through because it was a non-valid card anymore. You also have to remember, every time you get a new card, there is a new expiration date. You have to go online to whoever you have authorized to auto do your credit card or your debit card and put in the new date. Because after that date, that card will not work anymore. So, things to protect you.
John?
Yeah?
On the forgetting or trying to remember about what other things are charged on there, the easiest thing to do is just to go to previous billing. That's what I've always done. Go, oh God, I forgot about this auto payment.
Good. Yeah, look at your previous payment. Right now, we're trying to help my mother-in-law who decided to get rid of their phone line, or the landline, because the service has been really crappy and it hasn't worked for about a month, and before that it was off and on. So she's just going with cell, which is going to be a challenge because she doesn't keep her cell with her. And just today, when I was leaving to come up to get my day off and be down there, remembered that she needs to check with the security company for her house, because when the alarm goes off, I think it's that old house phone that's registered. So she's going to have to get in and make sure that if her cell was the second number, she's okay, but then she still has to get rid of it, because whoever gets that new number won't want anybody calling. And if they say, I don't know what you're talking about, they'll be sending the police to her house. I would like you just to kind of think in your head, not even having to do a show of hands, but think about it. When was the last time your doctor, and I don't care which kind of doctor, whether it's cardiology, general practice, whatever, when was the last time your doctor called and told you you were sick?
How would he know that? How would he know
Where
that?
Bill goes, I was going to say, for Bill and I, when would our cardiology specialist call and tell me you're gone into AFib? Well, no. When was, and this one is for Will, When was the last time that your auto repair shop called you and said, your car's breaking down? Now, we all know that we get those cards that say it's been recalled after the fact. That's the problem. But when? When was the last time the power company called you ahead of time and told you the power's going to be out? Now, I do have AEP, and now they will send a message to my phone that says there is a power problem. And one time they did, I'm going, where? And then all of a sudden, poof. But not usually. When was the last time the gas station called and said, you're going to run out of gas? When was the last time the grocery store called you and said, you're running low on milk and bread? When was the last time that me called you and said, your computer's got a problem? Just today, I didn't go up to Green Bed.
Don.
Who?
Don.
Don. You really Don? 'Cause I'm not John, I'm Billy. I did not call Don and said, Don, you're having trouble upgrading to Windows 10. When was the last time I called Dr. Brandon to tell him his computer was having a problem? When was the last time somebody else, just like me, called and told you?
With an X.
Yeah, this week.
Yesterday.
No, like me. Or somebody like me. So why, if I didn't call you, would somebody else call you and tell you you've got computer problems? Or any other problem that matters? I see her. Okay. I want to get through and then we're going to have lots of time open discussion. Nobody calls you in advance and tells you about problems. So if somebody does, bogus call just to start with. And we have still people who think when somebody calls, they know. They're just guessing. It would be, I could call Don and say, Don, you having trouble with your computer? And I'm just throwing out a hook. And Don says, well, yeah, I am. And I can reel him in. I didn't know Don's having problems. I just called. Just called to see. So let's talk about some of these different things that we're having to deal with now. Scams. An attempt to cheat someone out of their money or personal property. Plain and simple. It's not just a computer thing. It can be computer, it can be phone, it can be mail, but a scam is trying to cheat someone out of their personal money. Spams. A messaging system used to send out unsolicited messages, especially advertising, especially sending messages repeatedly on the same site over and over and over, or phone calls over and over. How many of you have gotten a phone call from the same number daily or every other day? Okay, that's spam.
They just don't answer anymore.
Interesting enough, spam came from Monty Python and his flying circus show, this more British show, back in the 70s. And it's from a skit they did at a greasy spoon. And what happened was that they had lots of different foods on the menu. But everything you ordered came with spam. And so no matter what, if the waitress was saying what we have today, everything, in addition to what you wanted, came with the regular spam. And so the skit, then everybody started hollering spam, spam, spam. So that's where this came from. But it turns out spams, if you go look it up, came back way before, back in the 1800s. When the telegraph first came out, somebody was able to send out multiple telegrams to different organizations or businesses. So spam's been around since before the computer world and all that. Spams are found in email, instant message, news groups, search engines, blogs, classified ads, phone messages, internet forums, fax transmissions, social sites, mobile apps, television advertising, and file sharing. So this is not just something that's a single little thing here. This is widespread in every possible communication way. Spam was used in like blogs back in the old days. We who have been in computers for a long time remember the old days of bulletin boards, when it was like a text messaging, only it's a group of people talking to each other. And what would happen is if somebody got on that bulletin board that the other people didn't want, they would flood that person or that thing with spam and talking and stuff to get them to leave. It still happens when the Star Trek group gets together to talk about Star Trek. The Star Wars people get on there, and then there's a big battle to try to see who can push the people off and give up with all this spam that they put out and copies of nothing and just, you know. So it's been there. Spoofs. Creation of email messages with a forged sender address. My name is Bill James. If this wasn't my group, I could walk in and you would say, oh, I can be whoever I want to be. On the internet, I can be whoever I want to be, and it will take you a lot of digging around to find out that I'm not who I say I am. The purpose is to get you to do something without thinking because, oh, I know that person, I know that website, I know that company. Phishing. Fraudulent attempt to obtain sensitive information. Names, passwords, credit card numbers. Phishing. Going fishing. And they do it disguised as maybe a trustworthy person or company. It often directs people to give their personal information to a fake website that looks and feels like the real thing. But we come back to the same thing. Nobody contacts you. You have to call somebody. Unless it usually comes through the mail, through a legitimate mail. And then you have a better chance because if somebody's screwing around with the government mail, they can get into real serious trouble. Nobody's getting much in trouble with computer stuff because the computer is internet totally free and open source and everything. Phishing. Now, there are kinds of phishing. Spear phishing, directed at a specific person or persons, usually individuals or executives or companies. And you think of that when you do a spear, you know, you're hitting a specific thing rather than net. You know, bulk phishing is where they just throw out the net and see who they catch. That's done a lot in emails because they can write email addresses. If you don't want to be involved in bulk phishing, you need to have a very unique email address that somebody isn't likely to pull up out of their dictionary or type up through a program that can generate. Clone. And that's because we take a legitimate and then make slight changes to it to make it illegitimate.
Like, for instance,
We'll see later. It would be an email or like a letter that would come from your bank, and it looks, all the logos are right, but you find out that links take you to wrong places or graphics. Whaling is a new one directed to senior executives and high profile, big whales, so the big fish. And the newest one is phishing. That was new to me. And that's where they use voice to trick you, where they can call you and convince you that you are having problems. So that's phishing.
John, another common one that you see on Facebook a lot is an offer for a free coupon or a free discount, and they're targeting anybody that buys.
Yeah, that's the bulk one. We're going to come back to this just a second. Now, what I'm planning to do is I want to try to cover material, and then we'll come back, and I have a whole bunch of my email messages that are scams and scans and spoofs and stuff as examples, because Mary Fran says, like what? We'll look at some. And then we'll be able to open up for comments and sharing from the floor if you're brave enough to share. I know horror stories of people in our club, and I'm not going to share it for them, but some of them aren't around anymore. I need to get to my email so I can pull up. I couldn't copy and put this into the presentation last night because I didn't have internet where I was. So I ran home and saved all my emails so I could have them go through those. No, I was down in Ohio. My in-laws don't have any. Okay. Oh, that's because I'm not on the internet here. Just give me a second, please. I'm not on the internet. I can't get my mail. Thank you. Oh, wait a second. It's not there. That's not what I use. And you'll get to see a password manager in action. This is my Proton mail. Ooh. Requires the double entry password. Gee, wonder what that is. So I go and log into my password manager. Oh, didn't type it right.
Whoa. Never get in there.
Sure it will. And so it knows that I need two different passwords. I have usernames, passwords, I don't remember, so I'll just say first one. Fills it in for me. Enter. Proton's strong enough that it requires a second one. And so this one is even a harder password, so I just say password manager, tell me what it is to unlock it. See, what I didn't do, David, was plug in the network.
Well, at least Kenny didn't turn off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. All right. What we're going to look at now is the records or the statistics from last year, 2018, because we're just starting 2019. And we're going to look at the top frauds of 2018. What do you need to be aware of? Now, every year millions of people tell us about frauds. Millions! Last year, 3 million people reported that they had attempts at fraud. And I'm sure the statistics will say that that's a small percentage of what really did. People responding said they totally lost $1.48 billion. And that's a 38% increase over the year before.
And that's the one that reported it.
And the idea is, why is it going up when we are having programs like this? Oh, right. We don't have anybody here besides you guys who probably know all of this. Top reports were imposters, debt collection, and identity thief. What's interesting is that younger people report losing money more often than older people. Probably because older people are embarrassed and don't want to admit. So more younger people do it. But look at this. The young people only lost, this line. Young people only lost a little bit of money on the average, but the older people lose more money. Because these guys and gals and weirdos and mean people know that older generation people are easy targets. Why? Because we're too trustworthy. We're too believing. We come from a generation that doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, handshake. All right. So I thought that was interesting, and I'll even show you, said even more. The scammers like to get their money by wire transfers because they can't be able to trace that. They get you to transfer it. But now the newest one, and I don't know why anybody falls for it, but they do, is to tell you to go out and get a gift card and give me the number on it. You don't have to have the gift card, you just have to have that number off the bat. And so that's the way that they are getting it. And they don't get in trouble. You went and bought that gift card. You gave them the number. There's nothing that you can hold those people against. Misusing someone's information to open a credit card account was reported more than any other form of identity. When they get your Social Security number. Interesting. Top 3 states for population is Florida, Georgia, and Nevada. The top 3 for identity theft, we trade Florida for California. I'm not quite sure the statistics. People would have to explain why that changed. Florida, I know, because that's where most of the seniors live, in Florida and Nevada or Arizona. Surprised that wasn't there. Let's take a look at specifics here.
Ooh.
Yep, go to a different site. So here's the whole country for last year's reporting. The darker the state in terms of the pink to pink, the higher it is. So you can see there's where Florida, out of 100,000 people, there's 180 reports of identity thefts. Georgia, 229. California, 194 per 100,000. And in California, if we go back to Ohio, 88. So we're kind of in the middle.
88. One per county.
Now, looking at Ohio, credit card fraud, identity, phone and utility, government documents, even way down here. 88 per that. You can come and get any kind of information. This was linked from the Federal Trade Commission. I strongly recommend, and we kind of sent that out in a couple of our news or our emails when I send things out about scams and stuff, because you need to be aware. You should go. Yeah, we're leaving that psychopath. One more. Oops. No. You should go to the consumer information for the FTC and get signed up. I have on their mailing list, and let me see where it is down here. Where'd you hide it from me? So if I want to get email updates, I can just submit my address, and sometimes I get these every day. There's so much of this stuff going around. And what's nice about this one is, as you see here, when we were talking, one feature I forgot to turn off, I can roll the curtain up on my web browser if I'm at the wrong place, is that here are people making comments. We tend to be more cynical about getting anything back. They've been discouraged by poor service over the phone. No niceties of case studies. So this would be good because you can read about similar situations and stuff like that. But that's coming from the Federal Trade Commission, Consumer Information. Here's their main menu. And you can see here are the recent ones. There's only a few people probably in this room that doesn't need to go read this one that came out Friday. Protect yourself against Medicare scams. Here's the newest one I saw. Protection for minors under 16. Nobody figured, do we have to protect the people under 16? Yes, because if you don't get their Social Security number of grandkids and kids registered, if they find out that number, your kids and grandkids will have credit card debts galore. Keep tech support strangers out of your computer. Ugh, how we talk about that. So you can see all the different articles, but I thought that was most interesting that the younger people are more likely to report, but it's the older people who lose more money. And I saw on one thing listed $700 and some dollars was a kind of an average. It went clear up to $1,500 or $1,700 that come out from the scams. So you can make a complaint, but I can tell you that all you're doing is adding to other complaints, because there's not much that can be done, because these people just keep moving around. They move phones around, they move email addresses around. We're going to talk about that. Younger people report, there's where I saw it. Younger people report losing more money than older people, but the older people, look at that. The average or so, median for somebody who's 80, won't ask for show of hands, they lose $1,000 more than a 70-year-old. We had a club member who every time she got an email that said, you can win this, you can win that, she went crazy and signed up for everything because she knew she was going to win. All right, so, okay, so there's your top ones. But I had one that I can't find because it's missing from my email, and I went looking for it quickly when I got back home or back in town. But there was another one that listed the top 10. Let me see if I can find this again. just pulls it up. Oh, I gotta hit the search. There we go. That's 2014. Yeah. That's old. I had one that listed the top 10 specifically that I wanted to share, but of course, when you're on the internet, you find it once, but you can't find it, so I saved it, but then when I saved it, I didn't save it completely right.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah, but it showed you the specific ones that do, such as, you know, the grandchild calling you and this and that. All right. We'll come back to that if we need to, and we get out of here at F11. See, F11, full screen, not full screen. That wasn't on the agenda, but now you learned something. F11 gets rid of, whoops.
You don't have enough light.
Now, there we go. So now full screen, not full screen. Alt F. F5 starts your program, but that started from the very beginning. All right, so that was supposed to go here, but since I didn't have internet, I couldn't copy and paste it into that. Just real nice. All right, so what can you do about emails? And then we'll look at specific emails. First most important thing is don't open it. If you're not 110% sure about this email, don't open it. I don't care if it's from Bill James and you've met Bill James. If you're not sure, don't open it. Now, most of the time, you could open up an email and nothing's really going to happen. Most of the time. But if you're not expecting an email from somebody and the type of the subject's strange, or you look to see who all else got it, don't do it. If you do open up that email, don't click on anything. Don't click on any pictures or images or icons, because some of them can be sent to and do things you don't want to happen. Don't click on any links, because just because I say I'm Bill James doesn't mean that if you come up and give me something, it's going to get to Bill James. It's going to go somewhere else. If you don't know how to check a link, you should have been taking our internet class. We'll talk about that, because we'll look at that. Personal. Don't forward anything to me that you got from 100 other people that you don't know 110% sure. Because honestly, I'm going to fire it right back to you and send you the snoops and say, this is total bull. And then you have to feel embarrassed because you sent this out to 100 of your friends and it's totally false information. And the other thing I would tell you is don't forward anything political to anybody unless you know that they are 110% on the same wavelength you are. Because if you send me something and that's not my path, I'm going to retaliate and start sending you all the things that you're not going to want either.
Ooh, escalate.
Yeah.
John, I've got a question on going to webmail and you select preview. If you do that, I've assumed, you know what assume does?
Yep.
That what it shows you there is not actually, you're not actually going into that email.
It's the preview windows you're seeing the email. And I tell people never activate preview window. Because someday, someone, if they haven't already, I'm not an expert, I keep telling you this, I'm only the guy who's willing to get up here in front of you because other people won't. they are going to work out a deal that when you open up the email, something automatically happens. And in your email program, you also, at least in Thunderbird, we always teach people, turn off the checkbox that says, when I'm done with this mail, automatically open up the next one. I don't want any email opened unless I open it.
So you're saying that little preview sentence that you get is actually the same as opening the
Preview
email?
sentence, that, you mean just the subject area?
No, on
Preview
my
pane.
webmail, if I've selected preview, instead of just having the subject, it will have the first couple of sentences of the email, so I can kind of scan and go, oh yeah, that's something that
Okay,
John
you need
would
to check
say.
to make sure that that preview window is only that high, and that's why you
It
don't
is,
get
it's
it.
just- right.
But if you make it this high, you'll
No.
see the whole message.
No, this is just allowing you, when you get your whole listing of email, like maybe there's 20
Yeah.
there, each one, well, you'll only get half as many because each one will show you like the first line or
What webmail are you using?
Earthlink.
Ancient stuff. That's
But
Yeah.
why? Because they've updated, and there's a lot of things they do that I really like, and I know I've heard that a number of times,
Mhm.
and I don't understand why.
I've never seen that, so that's something must be unique with
Maybe
Earthlink.
it's a habit.
Everett?
Well, John, to expand on that, I'm still using ancient Outlook Express, but mine does a full preview.
Oh,
You see the entire message.
yeah.
It's only text.
Oh,
It's
Now-
all text.
Well, now the computer does not download pictures until you tell it to. If you don't do that, all you see is the text. So that's the way I don't even open it. I just read the text. And I don't have to open it.
Yeah, I'm following that. Most people, though, you have to go in and switch it back to text only because we are in the modern world. We want all of that fancy HTML, all that good stuff. So you would have to go back in and say, I don't want any images unless I say, and I only want text to start with. Because it's in your settings. A lot of people never spend enough time in their mail settings to find out what all it can do and not do, and what you want it to do and what you don't. But my feeling is I don't have any preview pane because I don't want it opening up automatically, and I don't want it to open up unless I do. And so if I choose to open it up, I want to see the whole thing. I don't go as far as you do, Jackie. If I'm not sure of it, I wouldn't even preview it. I wouldn't even preview it. All right. Don't respond to your mail, because if you do, they know you're a real person. If you respond, you have given them your real email address. They sent it to a possible, I just made this address up. I just made up Roush House. And I sent Roush House to every mail server in the world that I knew. And if Mary Frances writes back and says, blah, 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 they'll go, roushhouse@alink.com is a live one. Don't respond. If they say respond to get you off a list, don't. That's in one of them that I have.
That's what I wanted you to tell them.
Delete anything, everything that you're not sure of. We got an email, I think it was from Jim.
Yep.
We got an email from my president of the club. But I could tell before I even opened it, it was a goofy one, and I'll show you why. So, deleted it. If you have questions, the people in the club got a hold of Jim and said, Jim, did you send this out? Because I think it was a message to authorize some payment of some kind. And the problem was, Jim's address is on our webpage. Not his personal one, but I think it's the club one for president. And so the hoods go out there and gather up all those That's why on our webpage, you may be upset with me, but our web addresses are president, the word at, the word LCCS, the word dot, the word. You can't harvest that one because you have to go and filter too much out. But at least we aren't going to get ours caught. What do you do about websites? Don't click on anything unless you're 110% sure. Because these guys are getting really crafty. They can write a web address and you think you're going here, but it's taking you somewhere else. They've got an image for you to click that says, check out this picture. Well, now it does something else, or it takes you someplace else. Don't click on anything. Even if you really feel like, I gotta do it, I gotta do it. Don't. If you're not 100% sure, contact someone. If you're on a website that you're saying, uh-oh, I don't think I want to be here, don't click the X. Because they can put an invisible film on top of that X. You see the X, but you can't see the invisible button, that when you click that button, it does something. I teach in my classes that that's the one thing little boys or young boys get into real problems with when they're out surfing on their own looking for images that they shouldn't be, and then they hear mom or dad coming up the steps. They go to start hitting that X in the corner, and every time they click it, it opens up another picture, another picture, another picture. If you're not sure, you can try closing the tab. Each tab that opens up has a little closeout button. And they can't really put the hidden picture up there because they don't know how many tabs you're going to have or where it is. But the X is always in the top corner of their website. Alt F4 is a keyboard, so you don't have to use the mouse to close that browser up. In fact, it will close up any window that's open, but we're mostly concerned about the web ones. What about phone calls? What about all these scams and spams and stuff? In this day and age, you've got to have caller ID. You've got to know who's calling you. If you can't, my in-laws evidently, with their phone service company, they can't get caller ID. So I tell you, get either voicemail or an answer machine. So that when the call comes in, don't pick it up. Listen for the answering machine. I know a number of people that let the answering machine scream, and so when I get on there, I'll say, hey, it's me, you know it's me, pick it up, talk to me, and they do. Because if they're home, they're letting it monitor, screen their calls. The problem is the people who are in the older generation, because they, when they were young, didn't have phones, and so when they got phones, they're excited to pick it up and talk to whoever's there. So my mother-in-law is one. I cannot get her to stop answering the phone because she figured, well, it might be important. If it's important, they'll leave a message. And I tell people, I give my number to my students so that if they have an emergency problem, they can call me. But I tell them, I probably can't answer because I may be teaching in class, I may be helping somebody else. Leave me a message. I'll get back to you. And I also tell everybody, if you don't leave me a message, I will assume that it wasn't anything important and I won't call you back, even if I know you called me.
John?
Yeah.
On this caller ID thing?
Yes.
They got a new tool now that they can, it's an app that they can download, I think, to their cell device, which they can fake any number that they want. So you receive a call with an identifiable caller ID. And that happened to me. Somebody had faked my number, called somebody, and so the crooks, it's free for the crooks.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I say don't answer any calls from anyone or any number you don't recognize. I had somebody say, I called myself. I said, well, that was interesting. That was just sheer luck that somebody has your number and used your number to call you. So don't answer, because you can't, I'm sorry, you can't trust anybody now. How many of you have gotten phone calls from Licking Memorial? How do you know it's not really Licking Memorial?
They didn't leave a message,
Didn't leave a message.
but it started with 220.
That's the right one. I'm still getting calls from Licking Memorial at 740.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So that's somebody who's using a 74 number and saying it's from the hospital because, oh, you might have somebody at the hospital, so you're going to pick it up. And you're happy. So I know that if it's Licking Memorial and it's not a 220, it's not Licking Memorial. I tell people, do not block up your number and name if you're calling me. Because if it says unavailable, or there's another word, brain's gone, I won't answer it. Unknown caller, I won't answer it. Even if it's you, I won't answer it. You can leave me a message. And I've told people, I said, hey, if you're calling people, turn that off. You're just going to cause more problem because people aren't going to answer your phones.
Just this week, Bill Glenn announced that people are finding a way to get a hold of any zip code area that they need, and they can transfer that message through that. For instance, we're on 740, somebody in...
Oh, area code.
Area code, somebody in 660 can get our number and use it.
Yeah, everything's public. I had a Google number. But I'm sure that none of you ever know that I did, because I don't use it, because I know you won't answer it, because my Google number is Canal Winchester.
My dashboard.
There was no number for Newark area 7, our area code that I could have, so it put me Canal Winchester. So I never use it, because how many of you have friends in Canal Winchester? No, you don't probably. So are you going to answer my phone call? No. And since there was no way to put your cell phone number except to transfer it, well, I don't want to give up my cell phone. I just want to be able to use Google phone. John, go ahead.
I've started using No Robo.
Well, good luck.
And it seems to work, because what it does is it allows one ring.
That's through your telephone company.
And then it transfers to them, and they take care of it if it's a robo call.
You're on with Spectrum with me? Yeah, Spectrum provides a service that you can do, and it will screen, but it doesn't get all of them.
True.
But I know that if the phone rings once and that's it, thanks to Spectrum, they blocked, a robo type call. But there are other calls. Right now, I'm getting one before I went down to stay with my in-laws. Every day, it's coming from South Carolina, and they start talking before the answering machine starts. So all I get is, agent in your area, press 9 if you want to get off our list. Now, 1, I don't know who's calling. 2, I'm listening to a voicemail. How can I press 9? So I can't do anything about it. But how do I know that pressing 9 is going to close off? If it's important, message. If you do pick up the phone, here's my new instructions. Don't speak. Hold back on that urge to say hello, because a lot of these calls are waiting for a sound that triggers either I pick up the phone and a human talks or robot talks. So just give it silence. Let them start. What's usually going to happen is the phone will hang up. Just hang up. If you do start talking to a person, I warn you, don't use words like yes, okay, because they can be recording your voice and then ordering stuff and have your voice that says, okay, do you want to order this? Yes. Is it okay to charge your account $784? Okay. It's hard not to say that because they will ask questions with the response being, yes, okay. If this is going nowhere on your call, hang up. What should you not do? Don't play around. I know a lot of people said, I'm a Linux person. I don't have that Windows computer, so I can go on and have a lot of fun with them because they'll try to tell me to do things that I can't do on my Linux that you would on Windows, and I just stream them along, waste their time. Don't do that, because they're now being reporting that these guys get mad at you. They know your number because you answered them, so they know the number. All they have to do is report a shooting, an active shooter, a kidnapping, who knows what. Call SWAT, report your number. They know where you live, and you're going to have a house surrounded by people in big guns who talk second. So I'm telling you, don't mess with these people. Now, some of them aren't smart enough to do that, but I do know that that has happened. Why? Because I get these things I read to tell me about that. So don't try. Just hang up. Don't waste time trying to block their numbers. I used to do that. Because what I know, this call I'm getting from Carolina, every day it's the same area code, the same whatever code, but the 4 digits is different each day.
They just change the digits.
Yeah. Because those digits aren't real. They just make them up. So don't waste time. Now, if I have a number that constantly calls day and night and whatever, John and I can go into our spectrum and we can put in certain numbers. And eventually they'll figure it out, oh, they're blocking me, so they're going to start calling me with a different number. Because all these people do is they can go to the cell phone companies and buy numbers. And when they're tired of them, get rid of that, and then get another number and start using it. Get rid of it. The bad part is you need a new cell phone number, you end up getting maybe a number that used to be these pranksters. And now people start calling you because they're upset about you calling them, and you're going, it wasn't me. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I never heard that one before.
All right, so now let's close this off and go back to my folder with stuff in it. And we'll just take a little bit of time. Yeah, large program. All of these white things are ones that I've collected to share. Now, we're not going to go through all of those, but we want to go through some of these just to show you. Oh, I love this one. Greetings! You have been gifted 5 million USD. USD? Who talks USDs? From Bill Gates. Contact me at this address. Well, that says AOL.com. Bill Gates would not be using an AOL.com. Microsoft has their own mail system, Outlook. I hope this information meet you well. And I know you will be curious to know how I selected you. All right, so I, Bill Gates, and my wife decided to donate you the sum of $5 million USD to you as part of our charity project. Okay, now, Who doesn't know that Bill Gates would never send me that money? No. Who knows that Bill would not send me that?
Everybody.
Why would Bill Gates not send me $5 million?
You're not on his chart.
No! Come on, there's a better answer.
You don't like Microsoft.
There! I don't use Windows. This is not a Windows machine. This is Linux. So if I don't like Microsoft, why would Bill Gates give me $5 million to cause it or to continue my cause? Oh well. Now, if we go up here, if you didn't know that you need to move your mouse and gently lay it on top without clicking, because you can confirm, this says Bill Gates at AOL.com, and this one says Bill Gates 07. Oh, that's the same one, I can't read.
Yeah.
So that's where it's going, but that's not real Bill Gates. If I go here to this Wikipedia site, this is going to take me to the real site. This is going to take me to Bill and, what's her name? Melinda Gates' foundation page. So I'm going to think it's real because, well, there's the real website. Now, if we look up here, though, remember you said contact me here at AOL.com? Here it's from Bill Gates, but look what it says up there. Onyx.ocn.ne.jp. That's who it came from. Now it says reply to here, but why would he send it from this one? And look at that. That email is not an email address. It's, www. We don't put wwws usually in email addresses. Now, what do we want from me? My name, my address, my phone number. That's so I can forward. But then their information will probably be wanted later. And I know that Bill would never say to me, remain blessed. Not the way I talk. All right. Let's look at another good one. Oh, check order status. Hello? Hello, who? You have 6 notifications. Who? Who doesn't put your name at the top? This is from Avery Murphy at draver@handmere.com. I don't know anybody. I don't have any orders from anywhere like that. This notification was sent to me. There's my address. Now, it could have been bought, or somebody could have sold it, because that's my address. Or it could be a good guess.
Oh, there's one of those unsubscribe things you were...
All right, so I put my unsubscribe on
No, you
there,
don't do that.
and look down here at the bottom.
Oh, no.
What's it say right here? Congressman.php, which is web stuff. And this one comes to MAHESHWARI jobs at congressman. That doesn't look like an unsubscribe, but people just say, oh, an unsubscribe. Well, what that probably does is send it back. Here's a real address.
Yeah.
Which one? Do we want to do the 5 million or the 39 million?
Yeah, 39.
All right. I go for 5.
Go for big stuff.
To beneficiary email I''D. I''D. You have won compensation payment of US 39. That's a common.
Million.
Yeah. From the United Nations Fund Compensation Representative, New York / Federal Government, United States President Donald John Trump. Ho-ho! Not only do I have Bill Gates giving me money, now Donald Trump is going to be giving me money. Oh, what a hoot. Please advise. Now notice here, new paragraph. What's it supposed to start with, folks?
Capital.
Thank you. What's missing up in here? Commas.
Well, what about the sum of money? maybe my eyes are failing, but it looks to me like it's
$39.
$39.
Oh, yeah, 39 billion.
39
No, 39
period.
million.
Period.
39
The
points.
period, not a period.
39.8.
It is. Very good. So, all right, what kind of money is 39 point?
They're supposed to give you $39.
$39 and 895 hundredths of a cent. Okay. All right, and we look down here, and there's my contact person, and here's my email. It's at group mail for Corsi Bank AT. Send it to an ATM. And that's the one that's sending it to it. Now, I have a second one for the same amount. The first one didn't get my attention, because there it is, to beneficiary email I''D. And it's still got a period in there.
Is this something you opened up?
Sure.
You said don't open things up.
I don't, except I had to do something for you guys. How can I teach you bad emails? No, my antivirus program has already. And what am I running? Thank you. Is this junk going to get me? No, it's been designed if there's anything bad in there for Windows, so it's not going to get Linux because whatever they design doesn't run on Linux, so it's safe for me to open.
But don't open it at your own window.
Oh yeah, don't know. See, there's another don't know. That was the same one. Oh, look at this one. LAC, that's one of my groups, Lake County Computer Society in Illinois, and he's doing the same thing. He's talking about, I received a call from the vice president if I had sent her an email asking her to immediately pay $2,400 from her personal account, and then the club would reimburse you.
Oh my goodness.
She did so.
She returned the email.
Yeah, and changed it into what I'm doing for you, PowerPoint for them. And he found out that other people, officers had, because they went online. The other 5 simply ignored the mail, but the treasurer thought, oh, this is from the president. President wants me, authorizes me to make a payment, and I'll get reimbursed. Well, wait a second. The treasurer has all the money for the club. Why do I need to write and get reimbursed? I can just use our account and pay. So Phil Bach's a good guy at the Lake County Area Computer Enthusiasts, one of my other groups, so he was sharing that. Oh, here we go. Official message from JP Morgan Chase Bank! Exclamation, exclamation. From J. Morgan Chase Bank, but look at the email return address. Gobbledygook at rose. Wait a second. ocn.ne.jp. Sound familiar? We just had one earlier that had the ocn.ne. All right. Now, reply to JP Morgan Chase Bank .jannydmun@gmail.com. Now, my guess is that JP Chase probably has their own mail server at JP Chase Bank or something. If we look down through here, releasing the sum of $20 billion, tagged unclaimed. The time frame is short, and we got to get this to you. I want your full name, phone, address, your profession, your age, your marital status. Why? Oh well. And a copy of your valid ID card.
Yeah, I'll give you any voucher.
Yeah, a copy of any ID card.
How about
Yeah.
DNA?
Do people really send this?
Absolutely.
That's like that. Go, you have that.
All right, and it sounds good. Now, some of these could be sent to you with messages that have authentic JP Morgan letterheads or logos and stuff. What else is on here? Oh, this is the one I want to do. Well, I don't know how well you'll be able to hear it. I don't know how loud I can get here.
You're not going to put mine on there, are you?
I never do anybody unless they're protecting the innocent. Okay, let me find my volume. see if you can hear this. This is the phone call from the Social Security Administration. And this was back in December, so this is last year. 35,000 people reported. How many never reported that they got hooked and hoodwinked and in total lost $10 million? Let's see if you can hear.
Enforcement agencies to suspend your social security number on an immediate basis, as we have received suspicious trails of information in your name. The moment you receive this message, I need you to get back to me on my department division toll-free number, that is 1-888-952-5554. I repeat, 1-888-952-5554. Verify the last 4 digits of your social security number when you call to better assist you with this issue. Now, if I don't hear a call from you, we will have to issue an arrest warrant under your name and get you arrested. So get back to me as soon as possible. Thank you.
And get you arrested.
Come and get me.
All right. So, the number, if you match it up with the Social Security, it's not right. But when you call that number, they'll answer Social Security Administration or Social Security, whatever, and then you got it. They're saying your Social Security number has been suspended because of suspicious activity or involved in a crime. Sometimes you have to confirm it right there on the phone to reactivate it. Sometimes he'll say your bank account is about to be seized, but he'll tell you what to do to keep it safe. Take out money right now, give it to them to hold for you, and then when you reopen it, you get it back. But so that you could do it right, go out and purchase a lot of gift cards. Give them the code so they can cash it and save it for you. Your Social Security number is not about to be suspended. Your Social Security is no longer being used for identification. People can't ask it for you except the government, Social Security, whatever. They will never threaten your benefits or tell you to wire money. The real number is 772-1213. Their number is. But they are, it says here, putting the number in the caller ID. But when you call them back, it doesn't go back to that number. So we have had a number of people that have gotten that number and they're afraid, older people, I've been good, I don't want any bad marks on my record. I better pay this fine or I better do what they say because they're going to suspend my Social Security number. Nah, never happened. Never going to happen.
They don't do that.
Urgent notice.
What's happening with my account? Me and her both get.
Am agent David Line, or Lee, with a lowercase l. I arrived in the state this morning with your package ATM card worth $4.5 million right now.
Wow.
Los Angeles, lowercase l. International Airport, lowercase. Although lowercase I was pulled by Custom Department, California, demanding for $100 for a clearance paper before lowercase I could proceed to you. Lowercase I want you to get back to me with your full details where it can be delivered to you. And very sorry to say I lost all your information company gave me to deliver it to you.
For an iTunes card.
Yeah, iTunes card, Amazon card.
Send it to mine for iTunes.
And it comes from USPS, United States Postal Service, at arrow.ocn.je.ne.jp. Interesting, a lot of people. And I gotta show you this one. Your beloved sister, Anna Makulo. I don't have a sister, Anna Makulu. Didn't know about her. All right. Dear beloved one in God, Calvary greetings to you. I contacted you after getting your email address from the internet and pray to God to give me direction in going to go into this project of God with you. After my prayers to God, it was revealed to me by God, and it's my desire of going into relationship with you for the execution of this project to the glory of God and to carry out some charity works around the world. Okay, so she tells me who she is, from the farmer, gold and diamond dealer.
Well, she won't be able to carry it out. She's got esophageal cancer.
I'm a merchant of Russia, nationality, but presently in Australia. Diagnosed with that cancer in a private hospital.
Her funds are in
And yeah, funds are in Kenya. And if she's in a hospital, she's probably not got a computer because she's got cancer. So there's my sister. And let's see. Good news. Good day. Your email ID has won you €2 million in line sweepstakes program organized in Spain. Do send your response for the claim of your name and full contact details. But it came from vntt110@gvtc.com and reply to venturamyfairpoint.com. You've got to get into the habit of, this is a good one. This is the one I want to check. Confirm your subscription. Click to continue. Red to unsubscribe. My subscription to what? Well, it's using my Outlook address. That's real, but I don't trust that. Now, if we look at the top right here, it says notifications at mundo.breatheformoments.com. Click here to subscribe, and we look at the bottom and notify the biggest addictions.com. Subscribe me and body. Please confirm subscription for your newsletter. I never did that. Okay, we'll unsubscribe. Mail to the biggest addictions.com. Now the subject says unsubscribe. Okay, good. Please unsubscribe me from your newsletter. Click. Now what have I done? Confirm my email. Guess what I'm going to start getting in the mail? Now, here's one, and I can't find the one. I had it, but it's this. Oh, I know. When I tried to open it again, it was all gobbledygook. Your subscription or your enrollment in the adult something has been confirmed or processed. Or I can click here to unsubscribe or cancel. And I've been getting that for a few days and going, oh good, I've got access to that adult thing that I'm subscribed for. And look who this, oh no, like I said, don't look who the email's from because I forwarded it from my Outlook to my other one. But there's a confirmed subscription and I don't know what it is for. Okay, and there's more. That's just like within like a month, 2 months, because I was getting this ready for January, and then I continued getting on more. This is a good one. Multiple failed sign-in attempts. User IP. Well, I don't think that's mine. Because your IP address, you know what it is. You just can look it up. Date trying to log in Russia with Mozilla on a Windows NT machine. Okay. To secure your account, we have temporarily restricted your account activities. You are immediately required to verify your account information by signing in with the link below. Before proceeding, kindly make sure your debit credit card is within your reach. as you will be required to verify your card details. Oh, that's right, it came from Bank of America. Ooh, wait a second. I don't have a Bank of America an account. And info CSS at bankrilka00.com. Now, again, I'm sure that Bank of America has its own mail server, and it wouldn't be .com maybe. All right, so Bank of America customer service team. Now, wait a second, customer service team. That's double. Okay, there's the verify. If I hover over verify, Sim Hachi Alakaz heritamirajregie.net/WP includes text diff CD3/1/index P. So that's taking me to a website, but what in the world website is Simhachi Alakaz? Now, when I get there, I'm not going to go there, but when I get there, I am 100% sure it will be Bank America. And there will be the logo for Bank America. There will be links on there for Bank America. And if I click on those, it'll take me to Bank America page or Bank America something else. Because that's what they do. They take real stuff and put it on theirs. But then when I go to where it says to verify my account, they're going to ask me for my name, social security number, credit card number, so they can reactivate my account. John?
Well, I think anything that ends with .php is going to be executing a PHP program.
There's also web. That's, HTTPS is going to take me to a website that's made with PHP somehow.
Well, whenever I wrote PHP, whenever you put it in your browser thing, it will go to wherever the website and execute the program ending with .php.
But John, you're the only one that I know that does anything with, what is it?
PHP.
What?
Hypertext processing.
I know that, but I'm telling you, none of these people know anything about PHP. Looks like it's Pepsi High.
But if you see it,
they wouldn't know. That's the thing. All they see is HTTPS. And what have they learned in the computer society? It's a secure website, so let's go. But John's telling you, if you go to that website, it's going to do something. Because he knows that you don't know that PHP is a script that runs.
Thank you.
So all of you guys did good thinking HTTPS, and you all got hooked because none of us know anything about the PHP stuff. I just figured that it was something different than HTML or .com.
Well, it writes HTML is what PHP does.
So maybe that's going to write the bad website. But again,
it does.
You won your stuff. Okay, I'm going to let the lights get back on. And here we've seen, and I've told you what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to really be the advanced, active, and say, I'm not going, I'm not going to, that way we can see. I'm not going to answer these, I'm not going to go here, I'm not going to open it, I'm not. No, which is not very nice. Because if you don't, you're going to be coming to one of us and tell us about your ways of doing it.
My computer.
And I have had people in this club without names call me and said, I got a phone call. They said my computer wasn't working right, and they told me all this. And they said they could fix it if I give them this much money, and I did. Was that a hoax? I said, if you can, get to the bank and stop. Yes, it was a hoax. And the problem is, people who have some smarts. I have a teacher friend who I've been coaching for years. And she did share with me, which was bad on her part, that she got a call. And she fell for it. And she's a very educated person and has heard me tell about it. But they sounded so convincing. But as soon as she realized what she did, she called her bank and canceled the check. I had somebody else who got called and they said there was a problem, so she okayed the payment. And so I told her, there's nothing we can do about that because you okayed it. What happened was 3 days later, they put another charge on her card. Now, she didn't authorize that, so I had her go through the bank and they tried to work to block that. And then she started getting the phone calls from them because they were so upset that she blocked them and refused the payment. So they harassed her for a while. I said, don't answer the phone. Hang up. And these are people looking at me.
Yeah, and I do what you do. I have a recorder. It filters all my calls. And in addition to that, it gets a little tricky to put a filter on your email. I used to, before I started the Stance Club, I had an allow list.
Oh.
Yeah, it got to be pretty massive. But it worked, 100% sure. It absolutely works 100%. Well, I got away from that when I started the Stance Club because it got to be too massive. And I didn't get any junk mail for a long time. Then I started getting maybe one or two. And this one, in the subject line, in the subject line, yeah, it had all question marks in different combinations, like 6 or so in a period and whatever. So I was able to block that pretty easy. Then they changed to, in the body of the message, it was a whole bunch of symbols, and then some text, then a whole bunch of symbols. It took me a while to figure it out, but I was able to block it based on that. And it did work. But it's tricky setting up an email filter. But if you can do it, it works very well.
And see, I can send you an email. Back in the old days, I could send you a snail mail. And I could put Mary Frances Roush at her address, Heath, Ohio, on that envelope and send it to you. And you'd get it and say, hey, it's an email from or a letter from Mary Frances. And I could have any kind of whatever junk inside of it. But I get mail, and if there's an email, a return address that I've never heard of, I a lot of times don't even open it up because, hey, if it's not from somebody I know, throw it away. Or if it's somebody who is not John Kennedy, but Bill Kennedy, right in the trash. I can send out email with Roushhouse at alink.com to you because I can go in and put that as the return address. Now, if you dug deep into the email coding, you would probably eventually find that it didn't really come from her. But most people don't know to do that. They just see that, oh, Mary Frances sent me an email. Open it up. I wasn't expecting anything from Mary Frances. So my suggestion is if you get email that comes from somebody you're not quite sure, you should be able to right-click on it and say, scan it. Scan that individual email. Just like you would scan a folder or file. If you have an email or a virus program that does what it's supposed to, it should include email scanning. And I get it from you guys, and then down the bottom, like with the AVAS, it said, AVAS check this, for scans. So you can't trust. Yeah.
Today, when I got here, I got a message that says, how was your shopping experience at Lowe's today?
Were you at Lowe's?
Yes. That's Google.
So, this is synced with my computer at home too, is it?
No, that's synced with the fact that you have location on your phone.
Right, your maps.
And so when you went, your phone knows where you are at all
If I
times.
took a picture of you, it's on my computer at home. If I,
Oh, right, because you've got Google Photos.
yeah,
And that's good, because that saves it, backs it up. That's good. I have that too.
this also has Avast in there though too, but.
Yeah, but what's happening is, we were just talking to somebody else, that if you have location on your phone, which is the GPS,
Okay.
your phone knows where you are. And you were at
But
Lowe's,
I didn't used to get messages until just,
updates, changes, yeah. I do it. I was at Kroger's, and a little bit later, I had a message, but I do shop at Kroger's, and I have a Kroger card.
yeah,
You use your Kroger card, they know everything that you buy.
yeah.
And they can send stuff. Now, what gets spooky is one day we were traveling. We weren't at a location, and we talked about going somewhere. And maybe just a coincidence, but up came an email for like that restaurant or whatever. I'm going, doo-doo-doo-doo.
Stop listening to me.
Yeah. My grandson loves Alexa. He'll come running in, Alexa, tell me a joke. And the other day he was about ready to smash Alexa because he wanted to know more about Minecraft, and Alexa didn't know. So he gets pretty mad at the fact that she didn't know about Minecraft. Davey.
What about the pop-ups on your computer that says, we've detected a problem with your computer, you want to scan that?
Same thing. Yeah. That's another one of those phishing, that a website that you go to, probably the PHP thing or other, pops up and hopes that you believe your message. I tell people, who said your computer had a problem? Did your antivirus program tell you? No. Why didn't it? If you've got a problem, why didn't your antivirus program tell you? Why didn't Windows tell you?
So how did it get through?
Internet, you come through it. Your internet's active all the time.
Okay, so if you didn't have active scanning set up in your antivirus because you didn't want it to slow things down, that's probably how it gets through.
I couldn't tell you that because I don't use antivirus.
Well, too, John, I think what he's talking about those web browser warnings, right, that you get popped up with once in a while. That's what she ran into. And it's often hard to close those tabs, by the way. Chrome has an ability to close tabs. It has its own task manager, but that's tricky to get into and use. Otherwise, you might have trouble. Like I use, remember where I left off, so I can't just close the browser because then it'll just come right back up again.
A lot of people, just follow up on something that's not this part, but with David. A lot of people think that when your browser doesn't work, your internet doesn't work. And that's not true, because that's just your browser. You still have an email program if you have like Outlook Express or Thunderbird. And that's how I can check if somebody has that and you're still getting email. Well, your browser's working. I mean, your internet's working, but it's your browser. And I always tell people you have to have two browsers on your computer. Because maybe one's not working because it's been corrupted, but the other one works. If both don't work and your email doesn't work, well, then maybe your internet's got a problem. There's nothing you can do about that. That's your internet provider. But if you look, now you can't look at it on our computers right now. You can't look at it mine now because I forgot to plug it in. But if I would plug in my internet, you would see a light flashing and flickering, even if I wasn't on the internet. I have no browser open, just my PowerPoint, and I can close it down. File, close. Oh, I had both. That's the master program. Close, yeah. All right. I have no browser open, but my internet is working because my mail program in the background is checking for mail. Because I'll have a pop-up that says you've got a new message. I don't have Thunderbird running, it's not running, but in the background it is. So your internet's running. And so if somebody can send you something over your internet, it's just like mail. All the junk mail, you didn't ask for it, but it still comes to your house because the mailman brings it. Okay. You've got to help the people who didn't come. As you saw, the older you are, the more money you will lose because we're all too trusting. And we have a habit of we've got to answer the phone, we've got to answer the email, we've got to stop doing that. All right. There will be more of this coming up. We'll have more questions, Mary Frances.